Hey there, CPO here, and today I'm going to do Fender liners on overclocked here. I've been kind of looking for a set of Fender liners for the Jeep for a while, and I ran across these aluminum liners on Amazon. These are from Auxmart. I'll put a link down in the description. But they seem like a fairly simple design. I mean, there's nothing really magical about Fender liners. There's a lot of different brands out there and they vary in price, but these were cheap enough. I thought, you know what, I may just try these out. And so what I'm going to do is put these on. We'll put it on here starting on the driver's side. I'll show you how it goes, and basically I'll just work through this with you sort of real time, and we'll see how these things go on. So let's get to it. All right, so as you can see, the first thing I need to do is remove my factory liner. This has actually been cut up because I've changed fenders, flares here. And so I've cut my factory liner and made it fit, and I'm using existing hardware to hold that in, and I've got my sort of rigged up side marker lamp here. So I'm going to take all of this off, and then we'll see how easy these aluminum Fender liners go in. Alright, so even just a test fit, unfortunately, this piece, I've got a screw hole here, I've got a couple of holes up in here, but even before I put the bent piece in or attach this back piece, I've got some issues with alignment, and it's probably because I have a speed bump system here that is interfering. Yeah, you can see where it's hanging up. I think I need to trim this down a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do here is just cut that little section out, see if that gives me the clearance I need to get this thing slid back in there. All right, so here's the new cut. I did have a little booger there when I was making this corner. I lost it, zipped over, so just be careful. It doesn't matter to me because I'm going to paint this anyway. But I still have some filing to do to smooth it out, but I wanted to test fit first. See if that made a difference at all. So I may need to come a little bit more on that side. Yeah, let me just zip this little piece off. Oh yeah. So my issue exclusively surrounds the fact that I have this, I have Terraflex speed bumps up front, and this piece here is what's interfering. So if you're running a factory setup, you're probably not going to have to deal with this, but as with anything, once you make one modification, it sort of has this butterfly effect that impacts everything. So I'm basically having to cut around this guy. You shouldn't have to do that unless you have speed bumps. But it's starting to fit into place nicely. You can see 3 factory bolts. Looks like there's a place to stick one additional screw, but I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to trim this down just a little bit more, and then we'll put this grill on the back. Alright, so there's this little bag of hardware, which is basically nuts and bolts to mount this to the back side of this. Just like that. This also adds a little bit of structural rigidity to this setup. Now I'm probably going to paint this grill orange because, you know, that's how I roll. So the flare itself, I'm going to probably paint black. and then this backing, this vent, will be orange. I think that'll look cool with my build. All right, that's the vent backing plate. Yeah, that'll be good. Looks nice, huh? All right, now what we need to do is add this back panel into there. And that's going to use the same nuts and bolts, but this already has some threaded inserts, so we don't have to use a nut. All right, and then that should line up there around your shock. Now let's see what happens. All right. So I'll end up trimming a little bit over here just to clear this so it's not rubbing on my reservoir hose there. And again, these are problems you're not likely to have unless you're running odd setups like I am. Piggyback reservoir shocks and speed bumps. But with a little bit of customization, we can make this work. So what I see here is I need to put a hole here to tap that in, and then a hole over here to tap that in, and uses the 3 factory bolts there. And man, it actually looks nice. Yeah, that fits in there nicely. So I wonder, I could probably just bend that up out of the way. All right, so what I want to check and see now is if I have enough nuts and bolts to deal with these 2 extra holes. My assumption is I just need to drill a hole, and then they've provided the hardware here for it. So I need, for the other side, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that leaves 4. Yeah, so they've given you the hardware, and all you need to do is drill a hole in these 2 spots to secure it using the factory bolts everywhere else. So I don't know if you can see this. Even if I secure it at the top, it's still going to be a little bit wiggly down below. I kind of wish there was a place down below to secure it. And I think I might just look at that. All right, before I get too crazy continuing to customize these things, let me give you my thoughts on them real quick, and I'm going to finish this video because most people are going to be done by now, right? Most people aren't going to have to cut that out and, you know, mess with this. But what I do think is, for the price, a simple design aluminum Fender insert, you almost can't beat it. And the reason I was so sort of intrigued by these is the low price point, because I knew I was probably going to have to do some modification. So I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on a set of high-end flares just to get to cutting on them until I knew exactly what I was working with. But as you can see here, it didn't take very much to be able to get these to fit into place. Now I have a snorkel on the other side. That's probably going to be a little bit more of a challenge. But if you're just looking for a clean set of Fender liners, I think these are great. I mean, they're aluminum, they fit, they come with the hardware you need. It doesn't require a lot of installation know-how unless you're doing things like I'm doing, which is modifying them around existing mods. But if you've got standard shocks and standard speed bumps, they're probably just going to bolt right in for you. Now what I will do, and a lot of people do, I'm going to add a side marker light here. I got an LED light. I'm going to drill a 3/4 inch hole, put it in there. And like I said, I'm probably going to paint these. And I think they look nice. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.